Hello everybody, a bit of a different video here today. Thought I'd just ride the hype of Fizbins that came out recently. So this is an unscripted video, I didn't plan this, but I saw a lot of people commenting on various discussions about Fizbins, saying that they wish they had more Draconic options in terms of subclasses. And I've had a few Draconic options in the works for a while for my own home games. I make a lot of Homebrew, so I decided that I would share two of my subclasses with you, which were dragon themed, as you can probably guess. The first one is a Cleric domain, the Dragon domain, which is a historical domain that you can find in older editions of the game, as well as something of my own machinations, Warlock Patron, the Great Wyrm, as I call it. I'm just going to walk you through these today and show you what they are. I'll drop a link to these in the pinned comment as well, and you can try them out in your own game if you like the look of them. Well, without further ado, I'll kick it off. We'll start with the Dragon Domain. The Dragon Domain is the hallmark of the Dragon Gods and is a great honor to be embodied by any of their clerics. These chosen few can channel their deity's divinity into their very flesh, remaking themselves in the image of their deity. Tiamat and Bahamut are the primary claimants of this domain in the Forgotten Realms. Sardior, the ruby dragon god of neutrality, is also an option. Any other draconic god from across the multiverse could reasonably claim this domain. I've got a little bit of a breakdown. Everything's in the Xanathar's style. I liked how Xanathar's was laid out, so I emulate that for my own subclasses. This is a quick breakdown. Let's go through the domain spells. I gave them Cause, Fear, and Chromatic Orb at first level. Alter Self is to represent a dragon's ability to change shape, and Dragon's Breath speaks for itself. Fear follows off of Cause Fear, and Protection of Energy is a way that you can bestow the blessing of resistance onto your allies. You've got a feature that can give yourself resistance. Charm Monster, and Dominate Person as well for the most part. I've always seen a dragon's ability to garner minions as a key part of their identity. That's just my personal preference, which is why they're here. Stone Skin is also here because I often give dragons resistance to weapon damage. And then the new Summon Draconic Spirit spell is in here as well. You get some bonus proficiencies, just 2 skills and the ability to speak, read, and write Draconic. I haven't added it in, but I considered following suit with the subclasses released in Fizbins and letting you choose another language if you already speak Draconic. But the skills you get are Intimidation and Deception. First actual feature, Blessing of the Dragon. First level, you can impart the favor of your deity onto others, granting them the presence and resolve of a dragon. As an action, you touch a willing creature and grant it advantage on ability checks made with the Intimidation skill, as well as saving throws against or to stop being frightened. This blessing lasts for up to 1 hour or until you use this feature again. Basically, it's a bit of a riff on the Blessing of the Trickster from the Trickster domain, except this is in regards to Intimidation, but since that skill is used much less than Stealth, I decided to add on this resistance to frighten effects as well. Going back up, we have our first channel divinity at 2nd level, which is Draconic Form. This is the core shtick of the subclass. Starting at 2nd level, you can use an action to assume a draconic form using your channel divinity. The form causes colored scales to spread over your body that grant you an AC of 13 plus your dexterity modifier. You can use your natural armor to determine your AC, even if the armor you wear would leave you with a lower AC. So basically, it's not like mage armor. You can have armor on and then pop this when you need it to get the bigger AC. In addition, while you maintain the form, you have advantage on charisma ability checks you make to interact with dragons that share your alignment. The form lasts for 1 hour or until you will it to end. No action required. Moving on to 6th level, you get a little bit of a buff to this form. Greater Draconic Form, while you maintain your Draconic form, you gain the following additional benefits. Dragon-like wings emerge from your back, granting you a flying speed of 30 feet, and you gain resistance to one of the following damage types of your choice, any of the chromatic types. Divine Strike's pretty typical, only this time I decided to make the damage type proc off of whatever type you choose here for your Greater Draconic form. So if you choose Acid as your resistance, you'll deal an extra 1d8 of acid damage. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work outside your Draconic form, it just deals the same type as the weapon when you're outside your Draconic form. Finally, at 17th level, you get Wyrm form. As a reward for your unwavering service, your deity allows you to channel the full power of a worm. Your Draconic form now lasts for up to 8 hours, and while you maintain it, you gain the following additional benefits. You gain True Sight out to a range of 30 feet. Very, very powerful. I haven't fully play tested this one yet, as my games typically don't go to this high level, but it's very high level. I'm sure it's no problem. The AC of your natural armor increases by 2, so 15 plus your dex modifier. And you gain immunity to the chosen damage type. So, yeah, these 5 here. And that is my version of the Dragon Domain for 5th edition. Without further ado, I'll move on to the Great Wyrm, a Warlock patron. The ways of a mind older than civilization itself could not even begin to be understood by mere mortals, and if such a mind were to belong to a dragon, truly beyond comprehension would their motives be. But every so often, these so-called great worms mire a mortal being, and unto them share a sliver of their millennia of draconic power. Once again, I have a bit of a breakdown of the feature progression, but let's go through it one by one. I give them an expanded spell list, as all Warlocks get, at first level. They've got Absorb Elements and Chromatic Orb. I do give them Resistance later in the subclass, but I'm giving them Absorb Elements now for a reason that you find out later. Although this subclass is a bit more hyper-focused onto one type of dragon as opposed to the dragon gods like Tiamat or Bahamut, who could give you multiple types. This is just here for thematic reasons. I didn't want to give them Burning Hands and let them choose, I don't know, Radiant or Psychic or something. But moving on. Barkskin. There's no armor class ability in this subclass, so I popped on Barkskin so that you can get up to 16 if you want to. The new Nathair's Mischief is in here. I did give them a Shardalon Stride, even though it is specific to fire. I just had very little idea of what 3rd level spells to give them, and that's a dragon-themed spell. As you can see, I've got Gold's Tower in here for anyone who's played Mystery of Quillish. It's one of the Afterlife adventures. Not Afterlife. Is it Afterlife? I don't know. Charity. It's one of the charity adventures. Matt Mercer helped work on it. But I just think it's a cool spell, kind of represents them getting their own lair sort of thing. Warlocks already get a lot of the spells that are Draconic-y at 3rd level. Moving on. Liam Secret Chest. This follows the vein of sort of making your own lair, hiding your own hoard sort of thing. Stone Skin, again, I've historically run dragons as being resistant or immune to weapon damage. Dominate Person again. This is something that I think is very on theme for dragons myself. And then Summon Draconic Spirit, also one of the new spells. First proper feature though now, Drake's Visage. You manifest a weapon that allows you to strike with the fury of your patron. Choose one from either claws, fangs, horns, or a tail. If you lacked them to begin with, you grow any new body parts required for the chosen weapon. It counts as a simple melee weapon for you, and you add your strength modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with it, as normal. If you later gain the Pact of the Blade feature, you can transform this weapon into your pact weapon, returning to your natural appearance when you dismiss it. First option is claws. Each of your fingertips elongates into a claw, and you can use each of your hands as a weapon if it is empty. It deals 1d4 slashing on a hit and has the light property, so you can make use of 2-weapon fighting. Fangs. Your mouth and jawline transform into a fanged maw. It deals 1d8 piercing damage on a hit, and once on each of your turns when you damage a creature with this bite, you can gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier. Horns. You grow menacing horns akin to those of your patron. They deal 1d10 piercing damage on a hit and have the heavy property. This is obviously the most powerful with a d10, but it's gated off from small races with the heavy property. And then last but not least, tail. You grow a long and powerful tail, deals a d6 bludgeoning damage on a hit, and has the reach property. Very simple. Going up, you get the defining feature of this subclass, where you choose what type of dragon your patron is. Again, unlike the Dragon Domain for Clerics, this is one specific type of Great Wyrm that has decided to sponsor you. Select which type of dragon your patron is. The associated damage type is also used by features you gain later. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast Dragon's Breath on yourself using a Warlock spell slot. When you cast a spell this way, the damage type is always the type associated with your patron's dragon type. This is just a nifty little use of Dragon's Breath that I thought of, which is why I didn't include it down here in the spell list. And this works basically like an invocation would, a spellcasting invocation would. Wyrm's Favor, also at 1st level. This is the 3rd of their 3 1st level features. You gain just a natural affinity for a type of environment. This is mostly a roleplay feature, but it does have a little bit of mechanical strength depending on the situation. First up, we get Amphibious, which is just a swimming speed and being able to breathe air and water. Ice Walk does exactly what it says on the tin. Move and climb out icy surfaces without ability checks. Difficult terrain of ice and snow doesn't slow you. Tunneler, you gain a burrowing speed of 10 feet and can move through loose earth, soil, or mud. This might seem a little bit weak up the front, but burrowing speeds can get out of control very quickly if you don't limit them. And lastly, Plant Stride. You can pass through plants and foliage without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. And you get one of these, if I didn't say that. Next up at 6th level, they get Drake's Fury. When you hit with the weapon granted by your Drake's Visage, you deal an extra 1d6 damage of the same type associated with your patron's dragon type. In addition, the weapon is considered magical for the sake of overcoming resistance. I did get some feedback that this 1d4 slashing is a little bit lackluster, even if you get the light property, but having a d4 plus a d6 is pretty powerful for a light weapon at base, so that kind of evens that out, and it's just nice on the rest of these as well. Next up at 10th level, Draconic Absorption. You gain resistance to the type of damage associated with your patron's dragon type. If you already have resistance to that damage type from another source, you gain immunity to it instead. This is where Absorb Elements comes in. You can gain immunity as a reaction to the type of damage that you chose. Moving down. Finally, at 14th level, we get the Wrath of the Wyrm. Your patron teaches you an incantation that opens a momentary window into their lair. As an action, you can verbally recite a draconic incantation, choosing a point you can see within 60 feet of you. Your patron then unleashes its breath weapon in a 90-foot cone originating from that point. All creatures in the area must make a dexterity saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC, taking the damage for your Warlock level or half as much on a successful save. The type of damage is the one associated with your patron's dragon type. And here we have very big damage, as you can see, as it scales, 9d8 to start off at 14th level, and quickly going up to 12d8, then to 15d8, and then finally to 18d8. These are roughly correlated to the breath weapon strength of of a young, an adult, an ancient, and then a worm in terms of age category for dragons. But your patron is a worm. I just needed a scale factor, so I had that synergy with the progression that we know. This process is considered magical planet travel, since you're technically opening a portal. This prevents it from being done in places that have been hit by, like, forbiddance or whatever. Once you've successfully used this feature, you cannot use it again until 2d4 days have passed. I've decided to just not do a long rest on this, because if I made it a long rest, it would need to be much weaker, and I didn't want to make it too weak, so I wanted it to feel really strong, like you have a great worm who's coming and backing you up when you use this. So I just added a cooldown to it. Basically, your patron doesn't want to go out of their way every day to come and give you a breath weapon. They're busy. And yeah, that is the Great Wyrm for the Warlock, made by me, and the Dragon Domain for the Cleric, made by me. Once again, let me know what you think of these in the comments below. Feel free to use them. There'll be a link to a document containing both of these in the comments. And yeah, enjoy. Thank you for watching. This is the first type of video that I've done like this. If you like homebrew videos, let me know. I'll do some more. Probably do some more anyway. I have a lot of homebrew. And subscribe, like, stick around. Yeah. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day, and may the dice be ever in your favor.